Accept your death.
Alright, Bonehawks, this video is all about fuzzy guarding, or fuzzy blocking as it's sometimes referred to. I do want to give a bit of a shout out here to my good pal Maurice Robinson 3184 for asking. Yo Dink, what's a fuzzy? Enjoy the holiday. How'd it, my dude? I'm currently enjoying the holiday. I went out and I sunbathed a little bit today. I'm trying to get my bronze on. Have a little competition at work where we see who can get their the darkest, and I have kind of a natural darker complexion, so I usually win. But anyways, that aside, yeah, we're going to be talking about fuzzy guarding today. There are two things that you need to know before we get started here. I'm going to be talking using the numeric system as opposed to the actual buttons. The reason we do this is because there's an X button on every single pad. So if we just say like down 1, that down 1 is corresponding to whatever button is in the 1 position on your controller. I'm using Xbox today, so 1 is the X button. So yeah, because if I said down X and you're on PlayStation, but I'm on Xbox, that would get mighty confusing. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually just going to keep this up in the corner. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller so it's kind of not in our way, just so you don't have to keep rewinding back to reference to it. Okay, so the second thing is we're going to go into a little bit of how to read the moves list. This might be a little bit too basic for you, but I do want to just make sure that everyone understands what's going on, because at the end of the day, I just want you to learn. And sometimes people are, you know, don't feel comfortable asking questions, so I make sure that I cover as much as I can in these basic tutorials for you, just so you feel a little bit more at home, right? So we're going to be using this string right here, Dark Empress, which is back 2, 3, 1, and then down 2. It looks like this. So we're only interested in the frame data on the last hit. So if you look in the moves list, this is where it gets kind of confusing, because you have this string here, which ends with this. So this frame data is set for the last move of the string. Okay, so this is a what's called a dial-in string. So you actually can't just do the back 2, 3. You have to do the whole back 2, 3, 1. So the last hit of this, that's what we're looking at, the startup. So that's for that move right there. We're not interested in that. We want the one where she stabs you in the head, because this has a crushing blow on it, and we want to know how to avoid that. However, she has two options. She can splat you with the overhead here, or if she has it equipped, she can smoke you with the fan, which is a low. So, in order to figure out how to fuzzy guard this correctly, which fuzzy guarding will allow us to block both options. You know, it's no longer a mix. We've taken the mix away. If you do it properly, you'll block both options, no problem. So we look at the startup of this, which is the actual stab move, which stabs you in the head. Startup, 27 frames. 27 frames. That's actually fairly slow. But if only that move hits, she gets the crushing blow. You see the crushing blow. We talked about that yesterday, I think. So the other option is the low fan toss. Now, again, you have to know basic frame data in order to make this work. So sorry if I'm getting a little bit too advanced for you. I'll link my frame data video up there. We really just want to focus on the startup frames. So again, on this move, the startup is 27 frames, which means it's slower. And this move is 14 frames, which means that it's faster. So what we have to do is we have to time our blocks to block low and then high. And that should block both options in succession. The reason this is called fuzzy guarding is because sometimes your character's animation doesn't always change, and you've blocked an overhead while still looking like you're crouching. So I'm going to set Katana to record doing the mix-up, and I'm going to attempt to fuzzy both options. Alright, so we are going to, no matter what the option is, we start blocking low, and then we block high afterwards. And once we kind of get that timing down, this is a little bit of a simpler, because there's such a huge gap there. And I'll show you after this one where this gets really difficult, and kind of good. And it's probably the best example of fuzzy guarding in this game. So I'd like to introduce you guys to a friend of mine. His name is Cabal, and he is a top tier menace in this game. One of the things that does make him really strong is his insane fuzzy guard off of this move. Slice and dice indeed. So, back 1, 2. Back 1, 2. Mid overhead. That's a mid. It's not even a high. You have to block it. Mid low. And look how quick this is. Overhead. Mid low. So, this is where it gets tricky, and you need to practice if this is something that you're struggling with. You go into the move list, And I already have it highlighted here. Here is the second hit of this. The startup is 16 frames, okay? Everyone with me so far? Good. Now we go to his special moves. Low hook grab. This startup is 15 frames. So you would do a low and then a high fuzzy guard to block both of these, but you have to do it within 1 frame, which is insanely difficult and insanely tight. However, this move is quite punishable if you do manage to get the fuzzy guard off of it. If I was to record it, it would kind of be cheating, but I struggle with fuzzying this as well. But this would be one of those scenarios where your character likely wouldn't come out of the low blocking, even if you did block the overhead. But this is something to go in and at least try, or grab a friend and be like, hey, can you just mix this up for me for a bit and just see if I can get practice blocking? Because there is an online practice mode, and that's such a fantastic addition that NRS made, I believe, in Injustice 2. Maybe in MKX, I can't remember, but at some point they implemented it, and I don't know why all fighting games don't have it, because it's a fantastic feature. So, yeah, so just to recap, fuzzy guarding is the ability to guard both a low and an overhead simultaneously by knowing the timing and knowing when to go, like low, high, or high, low. MKX would have more instances of this, but in MK11, these are the 2 best examples that I found. And that's it. Hopefully that answers your question, Maurice. Thanks for asking. If anyone else has any questions or anything that you want me to make a video about, just to kind of explain, leave them in the comments down below. Again, I'm just not really sure what to make content on these days. And, you know, I know there's only so many times that you could watch me, you know, watch me play in Kombat League or whatever, you know. So I just want to help. I like teaching, and I like, you know, giving people the tools to succeed. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.